Hey adventurers, today I went on a journey for wildlife right here in South Carolina. In fact, I'm on Kiawah Island, just south of Charleston, and I got to see quite the spectacle of nature. Dolphins strand feeding. Amazing. Not all dolphins know how to do this. In fact, it's a learned behavior that's actually taught amongst a family of dolphins here in the area. And what it entails is that a group of dolphins, sometimes even one dolphin, will drive a school of fish up towards the shore, actually stranding them, causing them to jump up on the land, the beach, and the dolphins will strand themselves to catch those fish out of the air and then head on back into the water and do it all over again. Strand feeding is amazing. It happens in the blink of an eye sometimes, but it is quite the successful mode of hunting for these predators. And how cool that right here in South Carolina, we are treated to a very unique style behavior for Atlantic bottlenose dolphins. Like I said, it's a learned behavior, so not all dolphins do it. In fact, you can't find it all over the world. There's only a couple of different locations that dolphins have really perfected this feeding style. So, since it's right here in South Carolina, I want to give all of you 5 tips on how you can see dolphin strand feeding yourself. My first tip, know where you're going. I'm on Kiawah Island because it is the most recommended place for accessibility to see dolphin strand feeding. You head down to the island, you park in Beach Walker County Park, and you'll walk the beach about a mile all the way to the end when it butts up to the Kiawah River. That's where all the action happens. So definitely know where you're going. Kiawah Island, Beach Walker Park, and then all the way down to the Kiawah River, and that's where you're most likely to see the dolphin strand feeding. Number 2, time of year. Shockingly enough, dolphins strand feed all throughout the year, whether it's spring, summer, fall, winter, doesn't matter. A dolphin has to eat, and since it is such a successful form of hunting, they do it all year round. But I will say, I've found out from other sources that end of August into September is really popular for strand feeding because of mullet fish being really prevalent in the area. I didn't necessarily go during that kind of window of peak action, let's say, and I got to see a whole lot of strand feeding. But if you happen to be in the area during that time, definitely recommend it. Another recommendation is, yes, they strand feed in the summer, but it is so hot here on the beach and it can get to be kind of crowded. So just a tip, maybe avoid the busy summertime and save it for a fall, spring trip, and definitely enjoy this unique behavior. Number 3 is time of day. Do a little bit of research before you head because you want to find out when is low tide. Low tide means it's easier for the dolphins to get those fish up out of the water. It's easier to chase them up out of there. And you want to find out exactly when low tide is. Today for me it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which meant I had about a 4-hour window. 2 hours before low tide and 2 hours after seems to be the peak time to really see that strand feeding. So I arrived at 12 and it's about 4 o'clock now that I'm wrapping up my visit, and I was treated to a whole lot of amazing behaviors. So 4-hour window right around low tide. As far as finding out when low tide is, just do a quick Google search. You'll find lots of different websites. I actually used Willy Weather for mine, but you can use whichever one you trust most. Just figure out when low tide is for the day you want to come. My 4th recommendation is come prepared. It is a bit of a walk from the parking lot all the way out there to see the dolphins. I definitely recommend bringing sunblock. I wore a hat so I could cover up my face, bring sunglasses. It's extra sunny, especially when my low tide was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was very, very bright outside. So definitely come dressed, prepared. I took off my sandals for the whole day and just walked around barefoot, but a lot of people were in sneakers. A lot of people actually brought bikes all the way out there so that way they didn't have to walk as far. It's extremely accessible, but definitely know what you're getting into and know that it's a whole lot of standing. So if you don't like that, maybe bring a chair. That might be a little bit more of a comfortable way. But I will say, the dolphins don't just strand feed in one location. You're moving up and down the shore the whole entire time. But come prepared, come comfortable, bring a bottle of water, a reusable water bottle, maybe even pack some snacks too, because a 4-hour window, is a long period of time. So you definitely want to come prepared so that way you can devote your focus to looking for dolphins. My 5th tip for seeing strand feeding dolphins is patience is such a virtue. You never know when they're going to appear. You're looking for those dorsal fins out in the water. Sometimes you might see one, you might see a lot. Today I was lucky enough that there was one strand feeding that it was actually 8 individuals that all came up to the shore all at once. It was amazing to see them all working together. Such a crazy sight to see the dolphins working together as a pod. But be patient. I was talking to a lot of other photographers and tourists and visitors to the park, and some have been to the park many times and have never seen any sort of strand feeding. So if at first you don't succeed, try again, and be persistent. Mother Nature always leaves you with a little bit of a surprise, and some days it's a great surprise, and some days it means you gotta come back for more. So definitely have patience. But those are my top 5 tips. Know where you're going, know what time of year, definitely know what time of day to go for low tide, dress for the weather, whether it's a raincoat, a sun hat, all that sort of stuff, sunblock. Come prepared. And then, of course, my 5th tip is be patient. You never know what you're gonna see, but be ready. Oh, and by the way, it's not a half bad idea to have a big lens on your camera or maybe even a set of binoculars, but you're gonna wanna take tons of videos and pictures. It is so amazing. Oh, and by the way, when you do come out to Kiawah to see the dolphin strand feeding yourself, be respectful. Give the dolphins plenty of room off the shore. Don't crowd them. The closer you are to shore, the less likely you're gonna see the dolphins, because you kind of mess up their hunting style. You really cramp their style if you're too close to the shore. So give them room. Distance is always best for any wild animal, but if you wanna see successful strand feeding, definitely give them their personal space. But those are my 5 tips for seeing dolphin strand feeding right here in sunny South Carolina. I hope you're as lucky as I am. I can't wait to go through the photos and share them with everybody. But thanks so much, everybody. And until next time, I hope all of you are taking plenty of journeys for wildlife on your own. We'll see you soon.